All right. Hi, members and also wider audience. This is going to be a premiere video that is early access, ad-free for the members, and then goes public to the wider audience as guided by spirit. This message is from the Blue Avians. This was the guidance that I received. And this, interestingly, was the deck that they chose to deliver these messages, or some of them, one of the decks anyway. And I just kind of had a little giggle to myself as I was sitting down and pulling these three cards, because this is a message from an avian consciousness, that is birds, and they chose a cat deck, which is interesting because of our concept on Earth of, cats eating birds or chasing the birds. So that could be part of the message here. I'm not sure what's going to come through. I'm just going to allow Spirit to speak through and the Blue Avians to channel what they would like to deliver, to whom they would like to deliver it to. So we've got the three groups for you to choose from if you feel called to one only or more than one, or you want to watch them all and see how the messages construct, or how they draw attention to certain constrictions I'm hearing. Okay, so for somebody, this is going to be something that brings awareness to a point of constriction within you. Something about mental consciousness for Ace of Swords. Anyway, we're already starting to channel and not even into the groups yet. So make your selection. Group 1 is the Ace of Swords. Group 2 is the 7 of Pentacles reversed. And group 3 is the 3 of Wands. If you want to make a selection based on the images, do so. If you want to listen to your intuition, do that. If you want to select by the number, do that. I don't know why I'm being called to say this. Usually I don't. Usually I just trust that you're going to pick the one that's right for you, and I still do. But they're calling me to say that, so that could be for someone specific, or that could be part of the message here around trusting how the message calls to you in whatever form or shape that takes. Okay, timestamps are below. You can also use the chapter notes to jump ahead to your chosen reading or readings, and we'll see you there. All right, hi group number 1, welcome to your reading. Channeled messages from the Blue Avians, and you guys were drawn to, or you chose the Ace of Swords. And in the intro, there was something coming through about constriction and an awareness brought to a constriction. This is the group, and they're showing me cutting through leather with a hot knife, like cutting through butter, or cutting through something with a hot knife. And the Ace of Swords is that sword, it's that blade, or the athame. It's magical, it's ritualistic, something about the mind is coming through as well. And it's like cutting through something like hot butter, but they keep showing me leather. Okay, so I'm hearing meant to ascertain something here, I guess. You're meant to learn something, or you're meant to gain awareness of something. That's the purpose in this message. They want to draw your attention to your mind. Something about the mental capacity and shifting that mental capacity. I'm also feeling kind of like a pressure in my collarbone area, chest. It's kind of like in between my heart and my throat, like high heart area. There's a pressure there. It feels like constriction. It could be something to do with throat chakra, or it could be to do with the higher heart, which is your purpose, or connected to the divine soul expression I just heard. Okay, divine soul expression. They want you to have awareness of this. And they're saying cutting through it. Something about deceptions or false narratives, cutting through them. Kitty is meowing in the background. I was called to use the cat deck, which I mentioned in the intro. I thought was funny because this is a message from Blue Avians, which are like a bird type of species of beings. Kitty. So cats and birds often are seen as opposites, or as predator and prey, or victimizer. I'm seeing Sylvester and Tweety in my mind. And they're showing me the nature of the cat, black and white. Something about this dualistic thinking is something they want to draw your attention to. They're saying the marks on the tabby. Something about the tabby, or marks on the tabby, reminds me of a tiger, but not quite. Something about the manifested form that the material self takes, and the mental construct that creates it. They're saying, okay, manifested form that the soul creates of itself to experience itself. So they're also, okay, they're talking about like the body, or the biology, or they're saying something about symptoms. a specific symptom and the markings that it makes or that it takes. Something about the skin could be significant, markings on the skin. And they're saying manifested form. Manifested form of what? I'm just asking, manifested form of what? They're just saying manifested form of the material reality. Okay, they just said making a way forward, channeling smoothly, they're saying, and they're drawing my attention back to that high heart, upper throat, or lower throat, I should say. It's kind of like right in between your collarbones where there's that little dip. It's right in there. And I'm actually pressing on it as I'm saying that, and it feels, like a little divot, like a little U shape. It's that right there that they're drawing my attention to. Okay. I'm hearing the word conclave. And then they're showing me a convection oven all of a sudden as well, cooking something up. They're bringing me back to the message about the leather again, something about the leather suited specifically to you. I'm not really sure. Maybe it's like, oh, leather is made from animal skin, isn't it? Yeah. And it's like they're showing it to me like it's shrinking, or it's fitted to you, or something about a custom fit, or the heat from the oven shrinking this. I'm not really sure what to make of this, but something about the skin, right? Skin, again. I just put that together. The markings of the tabby and the leather, something about animal skin or skin, your skin. The skin that you're in. Oh, thank you. They said presents to the world. Right. Okay. Well, your skin is the first thing that everyone sees. That's how we present to the world. It's kind of like what almost separates us, but we could also say what connects us to the world around us. They're saying channeling ability, and they keep drawing me back to the throat. And I guess that speech and communication would be also another way that we present ourselves to the world. It's kind of like the spoken skin. Ooh, yeah, I never thought about it that way, but that's what's coming through. That's what's literally channeling through. So somebody in this group, or this entire group of souls to some degree, has something going on with the skin, and it's connected or produced through the throat, they're saying. What? Produced through the throat. Something about a producer. They're showing me like generals and directors. I'm hearing the word conduit. And they're saying the word control. Oh, thank you. They said controlling your channeling abilities. Somebody here is from the Raw Collective. The Raw Collective, Blue Avians and Raw are connected, and they want you to have awareness of that. If you haven't already, there's previous denotations, they're saying, something about previous denotations that will draw your attention to the information that's relevant to you and how you're meant to channel that through, or how you're meant to work with that. Something about producing through the skin. What do we produce through the skin? I'm just thinking out loud here, but like sweat. They're saying something about the biology. I'm not, they just said biology major. I am most certainly not a biology major. I was an English and psych major myself. So that's not my area of expertise. Maybe somebody here is, or they want you to understand a major aspect of your biology. And it's through the skin, or it's presenting through the skin. They keep saying the skin that you're in, the skin that you're in. It doesn't necessarily have to be about the skin itself, but it feels like there's something exuding from you, or something that they want you to channel more of. And maybe it's this awareness even of your biology as a species, or like the skin you're in, referring to not just your biology, but like your state of consciousness represented through the biological being that you're inhabiting. Holy moly. Okay. Yeah, let's get some cards out to expand on the message. I'm going to put those back in, but the Three of Swords did kind of make an appearance there, but I'm going to put it back in. Something about pain or wounding or scars on the skin, markings on the skin, intentional or unintentional. They keep showing me that knife cutting through the leather like butter. Okay, the Hierophant. And there's this first card out. We got the birds and the cats. Again, okay. Wow, birds and cats. Predator and prey. There's something about this that you're meant to learn, or that you're meant to, I'm hearing, oh, thank you. They said orate, orator, speaking, channeling through. The Hierophant is okay, I was going to say the priest, but I actually heard the word prophet. They said the word prophet. They are the prophet. Meant to profess. And then they said to profess to make real, or to profess is to make real. Speak your truth with your words kindly and compassionately, for the skin you are in does not dictate the relevance of your being, nor does it dictate the relevance of another's being and the history their soul has trodden. Thank you. Okay. That was direct channel. The death card. Wow. Prior to death, they just said, prior to death. They're showing me life and death cycles, and they're saying moon and sun, moon and sun, moon and sun, and they're showing it to me like in fast motion, the moon rising and setting, the sun rising and setting, the sun rising and setting, the moon rising and setting. Okay. They just said, we do not fear death, we fear life unlived. We do not fear death, we fear life unlived. And then I'm hearing the word unforgiving. An unforgiving heart will restrict and constrict you from your path, my friend. Please open your heart to the ways of the One. You will find it under the Raw Collective, Law of One. Please research, and additional information will be presented to you in time. The time scale effects you will see rippling backward toward you in your present now. This will assist you in reanimating the self to its full potential and the channeling conduit that you are intended to be and that you were in previous lifetimes. Please assess your current situation in regard to your previous history and understand where you came from to understand where you are going. You preside over your rationale with obligation. Do not negate this responsibility. We are with you. Be at peace in the One. Okay. Yep, so I'm channeling a lot in this group. I almost just wanted to cry. Hold on. Whoa. Yeah, that really came out of nowhere. Okay, so there's some grief around some death cycles or the constriction of the self. Like it's almost like there's a release of grief that comes from the release of the constriction of the self and the awareness of the path that your soul has chosen. I'm hearing to walk that path to the destiny, to the destination. The truth and the way through, they're saying. The way through. Ooh, okay. They're saying to speak the truth is a righteous gift, born only by those born to serve. The One, the truth, laden, heavy, but lightness of being will assist you in carrying it. Certain sacrifices must be made to adhere to the truth. To stumble and fall is acceptable. Do not forget your forgiving nature. Your forgiveness is needed and wanted among the many and must be professed through your actions toward the self. The skin shows you your true essence of being. Look to the skin for signals of sickness or ill health. This ascertains... Sorry, the channel just got interrupted. Why did that happen? I don't know. It went silent for a second, and then they just said the truth will be revealed in time. That's okay. Well, like mid-sentence like that. What they were showing me as they were channeling that out, it felt like something to do with the skin will show you kind of where you're at in terms of accepting yourself. So if you have more inflammation in the skin or more symptoms in the skin, or you don't feel comfortable in the skin you're in, they just said in perpetuity. then that could be an indicator of where there is a lack of self-acceptance and there's a need for more forgiveness of the self. And this will present in how you interact with others in some way. That's what they're showing me. And they want you to be free, free to speak your truth, free to, I just heard, okay, thank you. They just said very clearly, set boundaries, free to set boundaries to communicate your truth and to protect yourself. Now they're showing me a bird in a cage, and the cage is gold. So it's like a gilded cage. That's not the boundary we speak of. They just said, okay, the gilded cage is a cage of the mind, a prison of the intent, to serve without willingness to sacrifice, they're saying. I'm still not sure what they mean by sacrifice, so can we get clarity on that, please? They just said the death rites and rituals performed by the holy priest. And they're showing me a priest in full, decked out in his I'm hearing the word authority, but, decked out in his like priest outfit, performing death rites on a body. Previous skins, they're saying skins, and they're showing me avatars, and they're showing me like video games, how you can buy different skins to have different looks. They're saying gilded cage. Do not confine yourself to the restricted mentality of a society bred to individualism. Seek to understand your connections through the community. Racial factors are irrelevant. Societal factors will press in upon you. This gilded cage will not confine you. My brothers, my kin, we must profess the truth, and this will seek the light in all those who are worthy of receiving it. We do not speak of worthiness in terms of embodied worthiness, but rather in terms of the forgiveness of the soul and the acceptance of the self. Those who are worthy have accepted their self in all its forms, and will therefore accept others in the forms that they take as well. The truth will set you free. It is within you at all times. This is much deeper than I thought it was going to be. Okay. Now they just drew my attention to the clipping of the claws that's happening here in the Ace of Swords, and it feels like a dampening effect or a dampening down of some kind of aggression towards the self or towards others. Something about inlaid memory could be, they're saying species specific. So it's kind of like this idea of us versus them, birds versus cats. I'm hearing something about cows and the future, something about a blue cow grid. I think that's in India, in the grid network. That's in India. Okay, so something about class systems or caste systems was coming up in one of the previous readings I did. So that feels like it's connected here as well. And they're saying the sacred cow, the sacred wisdom, the holder of the truth. They're saying something about nadis or najis. I'm not really sure what they said there. It sounded like nadi. Nadi. Not naughty, nadi. And the truth, they're showing me the Bhagavad Gita, a book with all of these rituals and spells, and they're contrasting it. It's like this, they're saying the word Hindu. Something about past lives, past life specific, skin color, class systems. They're saying integrated whole. And they want you to understand this. They want you to understand what you've been through, where you've come from, and how this manifests through your skin. Oh, okay. Three of Pentacles. Coming together and getting out of the box. They said safety of construction. What? What is that? Safety of construction. And they're pointing you in the direction. Time will tell. They're saying time will tell. We have the Eight of Swords. This is like that gilded cage. A cage of the mind, a prison of thought, they're saying. Be aware and be wary. Something about deceptive or archontic tactics to deceive the self into self-rejection, which creates the perception of another as they're saying something about futile and beast. but the channel keeps getting kind of interrupted. Like it's not as straight through or linear as it could be, I think. And this is connected to some kind of constriction that's going on in the throat center. Nine of Swords, fear. Thank you. They just said the word prejudice so loud and voicing the truth. And they're saying prejudice, fears of prejudice, fears of the claws coming out, being attacked for your truth. This feels like, okay, they're saying hidden material, sacred wisdom, being attacked for that sacred wisdom or being seen in a lesser light. They're saying something about death processes and rituals again, and they're showing me that priest praying over that person who has passed. They said the fallen. Queen of Pentacles, getting out of the maze. Following the way through. They said following the way through. Something about attire, so clothes. Or do you mean a tire, like a single tire on a car? Or did you mean a tire as in clothes? Can you clarify? They showed me a clothes pin, like you would use to hang up clothes on a washing line, or what do you call that, clothesline? And that makes me think of being clotheslined, you know, being cut at the throat, running and hitting something at the throat. Okay, that's connected to this. They're saying, yeah, okay. Something about casted spells with the words, spelling, words, the voice, the throat. And we have the Hermit. And look, he's hiding inside the bag, which has the Eye of Ra on it. I did mention, well, I think maybe that's Horus. But anyway, there's something about Ra here. The Ra Collective, they keep saying it. And look, they're hiding inside the box, hiding inside the bag. They showed me that. Okay, they said cat inside the cage, but what they showed me before was a bird inside that gilded cage. But they just said cat inside the cage. Cat inside the cage. Something about living arrangements or living species. And they said dictates. They're showing me dictators through history. Hitler. Okay, well, he did race wars and eugenics and all of that. And then we have Two of Cups coming out here to clarify. So it's like the union of all species. Look how they have different fur patterns here. And yet they're both feline species, or they're both human species if we're looking at it in terms of prejudice between races and colors, eye colors, skin colors, things like that. Or even just how we dress, prejudice based on wealth or status. They're saying the death of the old ways. That's what I just heard. Death of the old ways. And they're showing me the unification, these two tails twisted together. And they're showing me the retraction of the claws, capping of the claws. I'm hearing the word safety. And they're repeating that again, safety. Five of Swords, safety from attack, safety from dismissal. I just heard dismissal. Maybe you were rejected for what you had to say or how you had to say it or how you looked in previous lifetimes. And they want you to be aware of this so that that pattern doesn't repeat, or so you can integrate the duality of the experiences, the lived or learned experiences, not allowing that mental prison to contain you and your speech. Something about the patterns of your speech being significant here. They're showing me like the perforations or the lines that you would tear here on the toilet paper. I almost wanted to call it paper towel. So maybe something about written words reminds me of paper. Something about poems or poetry. Something about professions of truth, they're saying. Okay, so there's a lot coming through. Temperance. Balancing is definitely important here. And then I heard fish are friends, not food, which is a line from Finding Nemo, the vegetarian sharks. So again, it's like predator and prey, but I'm hearing annihilated. The word annihilated just came through. I just heard, where did you fear possession? What? And they keep saying the truth will set you free. The Hanged Man. Something about the root chakra could be significant here. Family roots, blood, skin color, DNA, things like that that dictate genetic. I just heard genetic disabilities because they were showing me the cat's butt and then the toilet paper. And I was like, okay, well, that's the root chakra, the colon, the root. Colin could be the name Colin, or Colin Powell, just came through. We have the, what is this, 7 of Cups. They just keep saying the truth will set you free. Okay, there's something about species because they keep drawing me back now to the fish, the cats, the birds. And they're saying something about harmonious time, Page of Cups. More toilet paper. Okay. They're saying the skin you're in, so they're bringing us back to the skin again. The skin you're in. Something about the toilet paper roll and how this one has still some left on it and this one doesn't. I'm hearing don't waste it. Oh, okay. Well, the toilet paper roll makes me think of something my mom used to say. She used to say, life is like a toilet paper roll. The closer you get to the end, the faster it goes. And since the death card is here, this is making me think of like the aging process. So maybe there's changes in the skin in that sense. Like, okay, hold on. They just said aging 2 degrees. 2 degrees or TO degrees? I'm not sure. Okay, luck, money, and coins. They said prosperity results. Prosperity results from what? Strength, resourceful, and the bear. Something about friendship and community. Something about your family, like not necessarily just your biological family, but also your root race family, they just said. A root race family. And the strength and resourcefulness that comes from that. They want you to speak your truth about that. Something about signing up for something they just showed me. Moon, cycles and change. They said new moon, lunar cycle. And they're showing me that signing up again. Something about the new moon. You could be signing something around the new moon, or this will be a significant change, or this could be what you signed up for at soul level. They just said seeing the truth, and they showed me the blue eyes of the cat on the Ace of Swords. And I'm also noticing that the Hierophant has one eye that's closed. He's kind of... Okay, I can't pick that hard. Hold on. See? He's got one injured eye. Which one is that? The left eye. The left eye. Something about speaking in tongues or speaking in codes. We have the tree of life, they just said, and it says stability and growth. So I feel like this is you coming into your own in regard to... it's like a biological expression of your soul gift. That's what it feels like, group number 1. A biological expression of your soul gift. But I just heard catch-22. What is a catch-22? Something. I just heard the word Linda, or the name, Linda. And then they said window. They're showing me the frame of the window, and they said time frame. A time frame, a window in time, a window of opportunity, perhaps. Ooh, we got the groom, husband and marriage. A commitment, a contract of some kind. Family related or family tree. Something about speaking the truth is connected to that. I'm not really sure how, but that's what they say. And look at that, birds. I knew it. They said birds of a feather when I just held that up. Birds of a feather. Coming together. Claws get cut and put away. Old ways, something about smoothing They just said widening the gap. And yet at the same time, there's communication across boundaries, but they did just say cross-contamination as well. Cross-contamination. In what? What do you mean? Look at the bottom, they said. Oh, old woman, sadness, and female. They're bringing me back to the grief. Cross-contamination from previous imprints or implants from lifetimes. Turtle, slowness and protection. You're protected across timelines, they're saying. Scales, justice, and documents, especially because there's contracts or there's contractual obligations or agreements here that both protect you. They're saying the law of one, the law of one. Yes, the highest laws of the universe. But there could have been great grief. I was going to say in regard to a lover, there could have been great grief in the past in regard to romance or a marriage. Maybe it was frowned upon. The connection wasn't, they're saying soluble. I don't even know if that's a word. Soluble? Salient? It's like it wasn't agreed upon, or it wasn't allowed to happen because there were differences in either social class or skin color. They're saying the word prejudice again. It's reminding me of Pride and Prejudice, the movie Pride and Prejudice. And they're saying cycles and change, and they're saying a new day, and they're showing me this like the dawning of the new sun. And some of that fear or grief running for the sideline, something about being sidelined or clotheslined, like not expecting something to happen, and the grief that came along with that. I'm hearing sad return, sad return. It almost sounded, the second time I repeated it, like Saturn return, which is every 29 years or so, 28.5 to 29 years. And it's Saturn, the Lord of Time. And they're showing me the turtle card again in my mind's eye. So slowness and protection also come from that Saturnian energy. Maybe it's about father or overlord or social rules or classes. Something about boundaries and barriers could have been significant to this as well. And the time period, they're saying the time period of learning, the soul's quest, and they're showing me a ghost. A ghost of the past necessitates your arrival, the return of sadness. They're saying good grief, like grieving will relieve that pressure or ease the constriction in the heart. And this time around, it feels like the connection is viable, possible, and it's not just with the other person, it's with yourself. Something about professing love or being a professor. A professor of truth. And they're saying dictators again. Professor versus dictator. Feels almost like authoritative versus authoritarian. Okay, they just said the words field status. I'm not sure what that's connected to. Field status. They're showing me playing on a soccer field. Reference coming up to Bend It Like Beckham. I've never even seen that movie. I think the main character was Indian. So again, there's a reference there to India. Something about complete or completion. And they're showing me the soccer ball. Something about the octagonal shapes, white and black, light and dark skinned, or just contrast and compare. They're saying long hair. And they're showing me a horse with a long mane and a long tail. And they're showing me that horse running free, freed from the stable. Freed from stability is actually what they just said. Freed from stability. You had stability and growth here. What do you mean freed from stability? They're showing me somebody spinning around on the branch, like the hanged man spinning around on that. Freed from stability. upsetting the system upsets the old grief or the patterns that were once held within the heart. Your chakras are attuning to a higher frequency. The spell that was cast upon you of faith fallen from grace shall not perturb you in the upcoming seasons. My friends, please come together as one and know there are no differences that separate you other than the forces that will it to be so. The deception is divide and conquer. Know this, understand this, and come together as one. We see you as you are, not of your soul or of your kin in the flesh, but as one. All as one. It is truth. It is so. Spell it and go. Okay. That's the message here, group number 1. They want me to leave it there, so yeah. I want to ask more questions, and they're telling me don't ask more questions. Just leave it. Just leave it. And they're just repeating again, the truth will set you free. Okay? And maybe it's not even the truth that you know, but the truth that you hold and that you speak. Professors of the truth. Okay, guys, I love you. Thank you so much for being here. I hope this reading was helpful in your spiritual evolution and development for your greatest and highest good and for healing purposes. May it help you to channel your highest truth and to be a professor of that in whatever form that takes. Much love, much gratitude, and many blessings to you and to the whole, as we are all one. I'm hearing making it manifest. Okay, we'll see you in the next reading, guys. Bye. All right, hi, group number 2. Welcome to your reading. You guys were drawn to, or you chose the 7 of Pentacles in reverse. And this is a message from the blue Avians. Okay, so the first thing that they're talking about here is manifestation, making something concrete in form, and being able to shape something or take the shape of something. Something about mega downloads. They're saying mega downloads. It's reminding me of like megabytes of information. How much of that can you hold at any one time? And the time that it takes to integrate or plant seeds. They're also showing me like the process of planting and harvesting and cultivating. So there's something about integration here, perhaps, in regard to the intentions you set or the actions you take to create something or to manifest. They're saying making it real in time. I heard patience and follow through, and they're showing me the connections between 2 points in time. They're saying the present is now, the future is now. Something about a calculated risk, they just said as well. Calculated risk. Making a move or manifesting a change, manifesting a jump forward, they're saying. A jump forward. Knight of Pentacles, manifesting a change for sure, but it feels like this has been slow or there's been time that has been necessary. I'm hearing taking space. It feels like the progression was calculated in time and the slowness of it was meant to manifest in a particular way. They're saying calculated risk again. 8 of Cups. Yeah, 8 of Cups. So they said the many manifested, and I'm looking at this cat that's pawing at the sink here at the faucet, and it feels like going straight to the source of something. But at the same time, it takes longer or you don't get as much if you don't have a vessel that can hold it. Like you can still access the source, but the amount that you can intake from that is less, or it takes more time. And they're saying calculated risk again, and they're saying megabytes and downloads. So this kind of feels to me, group number 2, as though there's information, or I want to say like frequencies or codes in your energy that your body is taking time to integrate and to make manifest in terms of your level of embodiment and how that shows up through your actions or the changes that you're making. I'm hearing something about skill development just now as well. They're saying it takes time to master. Skill development takes time to master. That can't be avoided. They're saying that's the calculated risk. The time it will take to master the skill is a calculated risk, and it is intentional. They're saying something about a math problem, doing the math or understanding the lesson. King of Cups. Right as I turned this over, they said vessel integration. Vessel integration. And it feels like, again, this is something to do with your body, or maybe even your emotional body, the layers of your light body that govern the emotional coding, emotion code, and how stable that is, or the mastery of the emotional layers of yourself in regard to frequency and connections to the manifested world around you. They're saying manifested reality. Okay, hold on. Let's keep going. King of Wands as well. Chasing after it, they're saying, and something about 2 degrees. That came up in group 1, didn't it? They said 2 degrees. But then this chord here looked like the number 3. Doesn't it kind of look like the number 3? 2, 3. It's like steps. The Knight of Pentacles works in steps. There's stages of growth. There's stages that need to be met. You can't skip steps. I'm seeing that meme, or that image in my mind of jumping to a conclusion. It's like there's multiple steps of thought that you could have followed, but instead you go straight to the top one. And it's like that guy who's got his legs all stretched out trying to get to that upper step. And it's like you can't do it too fast. There's calculated risks in maybe skipping steps or not skipping steps. And I feel like the key here, the downloads need to not be skipped, or the steps need to not be skipped. Something about dual wielding, they just said dual wielding. Again, number 2. 2 parts of the self, they're saying, and the marriage of souls, they're saying, the manifested integration. Maybe this is talking about Hieros, or the integration of the duality or the polarity within yourself. It allows your body, your energetic body, and that includes your physical body, by the way, because they're all connected, to strengthen and to be able to hold more of this manifested, coded reality to create. The word, or the name, Cody, just came up as well. Ace of Cups. Cody makes me think of something being coded, like it's Cody, it's codified. Ace of Cups. The vessel, once again, and something about this inflow, like how much of the energy you're able to hold or to integrate. Pathway to prosperity, I just heard. Pathway to prosperity takes time. Integration of the coding is necessary. Something about a layer of the self, they're showing me, like a layer or a coating around the body. 7 of Swords. That layer or that coating. They're saying richness and fullness of being. Something about making the truth conscious, and they're showing me how the deception and illusion can create a false coding to adhere to, and it's sticky. They're showing me the adherence as in like it's sticky. And not in a good way, especially not in regard to creating prosperity. They just said keep trucking, and they're showing me like a semi-truck. Keep trucking. They're showing me a trucker, like with a trucker hat on. So maybe this is like a long haul thing for you. And again, you can't rush it. They don't want you to fall asleep, they just said. They don't want you to fall asleep or back asleep. Not literally, I think. It's more like stay awake consciously, stay awake in terms of your level of conscious embodiment and they just said the attribution of your actions to free will. Right. Okay. So it's kind of like the more consciously aware you are of your multidimensional self and all of these different aspects, the more use of free will you have. And so they want you to stay awake in the sense that this allows you to embody more of this conscious coding and detach yourself from any sticky or any of the false coding or the false narrative that was keeping you stuck or making you feel like you couldn't progress as quickly. Now, the progression was still happening because the way they're showing it to me is like it's going to take time either way. And that's necessary. But maybe there was something that was gumming up the works or sticking in the system, sticking in your craw. I'm not sure. They're showing me banana in the tailpipe. That's funny. But it's like if you're trying to truck across the country to get from point A to point B, to deliver this package or this download or whatever these megabytes of information or coding are, then it's going to be really difficult to do that if somebody sticks a banana in your tailpipe. It's going to internally combust or it's going to burn out. So there's something about your physical body that's manifesting in such a way that they want you to slow down so that you can intake more of the natural coding and integrate it into your being, into your body. Like your cellular makeup needs time to adjust. It takes time to integrate big downloads of DNA upgrades, they're saying, DNA upgrades, 5 of Swords. And it can create some kind of inner conflict here is what it feels like. So if you feel like you're being put at odds with yourself, that's a really good time to slow down. Don't skip steps, they're saying. Something about breakfast, they just said. The 10 of Wands. Breakfast. What do you mean? They said putting a strain on the system, and they're showing me the 10 of Wands. Okay, so what are you eating for breakfast, group number 2? It may be putting a strain on your system. They're saying they're breaking it up now into 2 words, break fast. And they're showing me a semi truck hauling a huge load, not being able to brake fast because there's too much weight, there's momentum, there's inertia involved. And if you try to hit the brakes, it can topple the whole system. That's why they're saying go slow, because if you try to speed up and then a curve comes along, you're tipping over, right? And the whole thing explodes. So you've got to be really careful here in terms of the level of embodiment. They want you to manifest slowly. They want you to make sure that you're taking time for your body to adjust. Don't push yourself, they said. They just said that. They said that very forcefully. Don't push yourself. Because the more you push, the harder it becomes. And the stickier, they're showing me like gears being gunked up. That's like it gums up the works. So take your time. The moon. Okay, they just said the restful state. So something about sleep and emotional processing, REM sleep, they're saying, REM cycles, being in deep sleep or when you're dreaming, being able to process. And this is the time that your body is using to regenerate itself. Well, yeah. Okay, hold on. There's different states of sleep. There's 4 stages of sleep, if I remember correctly, from intro psych. And each one has a different purpose. And there's one stage, I can't remember which one it is now, but there's one that is for deep cellular regeneration and healing. I'm hearing the word mitochondria, which are the powerhouses of the cell. It's how your cells produce and create energy and how they continue to do that. I'm hearing the words longevity and something about postponed. Okay. And the REM cycle, rapid eye movement sleep, is when we are dreaming. We're more in that conscious or closer to that alpha state of consciousness. And it's allowing our mental body to dump out and to process all of the psychic miasma is what Spirit is showing me right now. And I know from taking psych that it does do that. But the way they're showing it to me is from a spiritual level, not just from a psychological level and a biological level. It's like the spiritual side of this process is where the mind needs to go to dump some of the stuff so that it doesn't manifest, because the dream reality is safer to process that information than it is to have it manifest in the real world and then have to deal with that. There's something about the word dominance that they just brought through as well, or Dominic. Getting a lot of names in these readings. I don't normally get names. And the group 1 and group 2, there's been names coming through. So they're really calling people out here, or there's specific references to people that are or will be relevant. They're saying the dream state again. Something about alpha and omega clearing. Oh, okay, I got you. Alpha and omega clearing is like massive shifting of the energetic body. And the physical body requires so much sleep to integrate and do that. So have you been maybe, because they're saying stay awake, but they're saying also like you need rest. And I think that if I'm taking it literally, they don't mean it literally. Like they're saying stay awake consciously, but do so with intention around how you're sleeping or the benefits of sleep and how this sleep-wake cycle is manifesting for you through your biological well-being and physical health, and how that's connected directly, very directly to, they're saying direct pathway, direct route to your consciousness field, your emotional body, basically your aura, your auric field. And they're saying regeneration. They're showing me the electromagnetic field of the body. Strengthening through grounding when you're sleeping. So while you sleep, you need to be grounding into the body in this way that's going to help to regenerate and produce cellular turnover. They're saying anxiety relief now. They're showing me a restful state, producing a calmer sentience is actually the word that they said. I was going to say a calmer state of being, but they said sentience, which is like the state of conscious self-awareness, a sentient life form, a self-aware being. Your body is such. That's what Spirit just said. Your body is a self-aware being. Now they're bringing me to neurobiology and the brain studying itself. But they're saying there's layers to this. The mind, the mental body, they're showing me the emotional states needing to be processed through the soma, the fabric and the tissues of the body, they're saying, releasing energy. And again, like something about the productivity of your restful states being so necessary right now, or in the upcoming fields. They just said upcoming fields. They're showing me Field of Dreams, which I think is a movie with Robin Williams, and I can't remember what it's about. It was like in the 90s or 2000s. Something about death or the dream state. The astral realm could be part of this as well. Okay. Something about acquiescing to a request. We have the Hermit. Okay, I feel like you acquiescing to the request is noticing the signals that your body is sending you for rest and not overriding them or pushing against them, and taking some time to yourself to, I'm hearing gear down, and they're showing me engine brakes, like how semi-trucks, they don't use the actual brakes unless they absolutely have to when they're coming to a slow stop. They use the engine brakes to gear down so that it doesn't put as much strain on the wheels or the tires or the brake system itself, so that the load can have time to adjust or something like that is what they're showing me. So you definitely need more downtime, more rest, especially if you're doing this kind of alpha and omega clearing. It's a massive clearing and purging of the cells. It can, hold on, they just said atypical. Atypical. You may have symptoms that are atypical in the body because this type of work is going on energetically. And they're saying manifesting a change again. I forgot that they said that earlier. They're bringing me back to it. Manifesting a change, a big one. And that's why there's like a huge decluttering of your cellular biology, your DNA. Your body is doing a lot of shedding. And so they're showing me a snake coming out of shedding the skin, coming out of its old skin. And so you need like double rest or double time, something about double time. Don't do overtime. Don't push yourself. Don't burn out. They're saying slow down. Okay, Two of Cups. I was noticing the dolphins here, and the Two of Cups makes me think here of like friendship, companionship, and rest. Hold on. They just said rest according to design. Ace of Cups, Two of Cups. Self-care and support systems are going to be necessary through this phase or in this new field. They keep saying new field and field of dreams. They're saying new field and field of dreams. They're showing me psychic connections between other people increasing, they're saying. Okay, so your psychic ability to connect empathically, intuitively, or to receive downloads psychically, not only from spirit or from the divine, from your guides, they're saying, but also through other people and their bodies. Something about the bodies connecting or communicating to each other subconsciously. It's not like body language in the sense of like how you're moving, but more so they're saying the word kinetic energy. They're saying kinetic energy, transfer of kinetic energy between bodies and souls. They are one. They're showing me they are one. Do you mean the bodies and the souls are one, or do you mean the two people doing this kinetic transfer of energy are one? They said both are true and neither declines the other. Okay. Temperance. Yes. Duality being balanced. Moderation is needed. Time to yourself to slow down. They just said rehydrate. Oh, drink lots of water. Cellular hydration. They're showing me plumpness of the cell is needed and necessary. You are taking too much from your physical being at this time. We adhere to strict codes of conduct in regard to the ability to transfer information to you at any given time. If your soul and your body are not in harmonious alignment to receive downloads, we may not send them to you, for they could cause harm. Though you may wish them to assist you in the manifestation of your journey, we would decline that request at the behest of the well-being of your body and its physical essence. We adhere to these conducts for your own protection. Please be aware of this. As we do guide you through this process, we will assist you in understanding what is taking place and how long it will take for that to integrate into your being. We will give you guidance and provide resources of information that will assist you in the integration of both the physical essence of this coding and of the duality through which the integration is taking place. Okay, I'm going to pause for a hydration break. If you have water by you, drink some water. Okay. Yeah, that feels a lot better. Oh, that feels a lot better. Okay. Three of Pentacles, building it up. They're saying building it up. Taking time to build it up. Building up your strength. And it feels like spiritual strength, physical strength, and they're not separate. They're one thing. Queen of Pentacles. They're saying the strength and the power within. Something about free base, free topic. What is this? Six of Cups. Six of Cups. They just said nourish your body like a child. So it's kind of like, actually, I don't know. What do you mean by that, Spirit? They said remind yourself. Remind yourself to eat. When necessary, let your body dictate when and how. And they're showing me break fast again, or breakfast. So fasting could be helpful at certain stages of this. They're saying the word governance, governing. Fasting to help your body do some autophagy, some cellular die-off and reproduction, to help something, they just said the word mitosis. I'm not sure what mitosis is. They're showing me like a cell, a single-celled organism, and then they're also showing me a brain cell. And something about autophagy triggered that. They said autophagy, and then, or I said autophagy, and then they said mitosis. Now they're saying, okay, this is so funny. They're singing head and shoulders, knees and toes, and they're saying like a child, like a child. Take care of your whole body, head, shoulders, knees, and toes. And they're saying the word mitosis again. I'm going to have to look up what mitosis actually means because I don't know off the top of my head. Top of the head could be significant. Crown chakra, that's where these downloads come in. Oh boy. And what is this? 9 of Cups reversed. Okay, they're saying hydration again. So something about a plant, hydration plant, planting seeds and hydrating them. And the 5 of Pentacles as well. Something about community garbage. They just said, what? And they're saying power plant, community garbage and power plant. Queen of Swords underneath that. She looks very restful, integrating the downloads, and the High Priestess. Yes, getting the downloads and integrating them. What are you talking about with the community plant? They're showing me a community garden. Something about raw, fresh foods for somebody in this group. They're saying specific, so that's specific for someone. If your body responds well to raw, fresh foods, they're saying you've been getting guidance on that. They've been showing it to you for whoever this message is specific to. They want you to know that they're watching what you eat. Okay, and it's not like ominous. They're not like, doesn't feel strict. Like they're watching very lovingly, but they just want you to be aware that they're watching what you're doing, and they want you to make healthy choices, especially if you're requesting spiritual upgrades and stuff like that. It's like you kind of have to do your part to make that accessible. Anchor, stability and security. So grounding is definitely important. Anchoring the frequency in your body through its stability. Yeah, grounding and anchoring. They're saying something about a prosperity blueprint and community garbage again. So getting rid of something, I don't know what community garbage is referring to, but okay, they're showing me the difference between community garbage and it's like a big community dumping ground versus the community garden. And I'm thinking in my head, like, well, garbage is not the same as compost, and community compost could be used to fertilize that community garden. You could grow great things there, and that could create more out of that. I'm hearing the word seedlings. Something about children or raising children is significant here too. Or treating yourself in your body like nurturing it like a child. But the community dumping ground feels significant. It feels like a metaphor for where all this garbage is going, and where maybe like the process of excretion, or like this community level information, or what's held in your cells biologically. The community could refer to, say, for example, what you inherited from your ancestors biologically in your DNA, and some of the, like, you're kind of the dumping ground for that. And that's how it works. We pass on trauma epigenetically to our descendants. We pass on even chemicals that are laden heavily in the mother's body will often get transferred to the child. So there's something about this community dumping ground that they want you to address or assess the damage of, so that you can clear it out and use what's usable to plant or to seed that garden. They're saying healthy attributes or healthy attitudes. I can't tell which word. I think it maybe even both. Ooh, wow. Pregnancy and fears, the rabbit. They were bringing up children a lot and the seedlings. And here we have pregnancy fears, and even the dandelion, like bursting with all of the seeds flying into the wind. It feels like, okay, they just said the word propagation. They're saying intention. Something about the frequency of fear being part of that garbage community dumping ground. They're showing me dolphins using echolocation and that sound frequency that sends a pulse out. And communication, something about body-to-body communication once again, and the sensory organs. They're showing me the whole being, like the entire body is a sensory organ. It's not specific to like your eyes and ears. It's your hands. It's everything. Your entire being is a sensory organ. They're saying fingertips. Wheel, endings and beginnings. Manifesting a change. They just said something about docking. Docking the boat. Anchor, that's where you would drop anchor, wouldn't it be? Yeah, now they're showing me a plane landing or touching down. So grounding, it feels like grounding, stability, security. Those two images also, since they're using a lot of like transportation images, like the vision of the semi-truck and then the boat or the ship and also the airplane, these are all modes of transportation. Your body is a mode of transportation as well. And it's not just transportation in the physical world, like it's your vehicle to get around, but it's also connected to your light body, which is your dimensional vehicle. It helps you to transcend realities, timelines, dimensions, codes, frequencies, consciousness. And they're saying jumping. So there's something here to do with quantum jumping and the time it takes for your body to integrate certain levels of consciousness at a cellular level, and the die-off and the biology that needs to be dealt with there, the nourishment that you need, and the requirements that are placed on you physically and energetically. So they keep just saying like, take your time, take your time. The eye, envy and protection. Well, they did say sensory organs. This feels like third eye, very much like third eye. And there's protection. There's protection there. Change and purity, the gazelle. This is like a quantum leap. What do gazelles do? They jump really high and over long distances. I'm hearing long period of time. This change and this purification has taken a long period of time or will take a long time, but that's okay because you're making a huge jump. And you have to kind of follow the protocol of each step along that way, even though it may look like it's weird. It's kind of like simultaneously you're making a huge leap, but you're also moving slowly. I'm hearing indiscretion, discretionary. Learning through the failings of others, I just heard. Something about disease. The wolf, cunning and stealth, although I wanted to say strength for some reason, cunning and strength. I'm hearing stealth mode activated, and they're showing me that Seven of Swords again. I forgot that was here when I got into channeling mode, but they just brought me back there, and they're showing me that coating again. Coating or coating that is sticky. And I'm seeing the word deception. Okay, we have love, new love, and the heart. And I want to put this near the Queen of Pentacles. So this feels like heart health, the frequency of your heart, they said. Okay, the frequency of your heart. And they're showing me that's the production of your electromagnetic field, your heartbeat, your heart health. Very important. They're saying it's crucial. And it connects you to others that have stabilizing frequencies, and you can co-regulate or anchor together. On the bottom, we have the crown, success, and pride. So this manifesting into something that you are going to be proud of, that you will feel successful in this whole operation, I'm hearing, is happening. Crown chakra, again, could be significant, top of the head, and anchoring those codes or those frequencies in the psychic realms into your biological electromagnetic field. Understanding that process, Spirit is saying, understanding that process. Now, I'm curious because I kind of want to, they didn't really fully elaborate on what was going on here with that Seven of Swords and the stealth mode activated and the coating or the coating, that sticky substance, and the deception. Can I get a little more information or clarity on that, please? Okay, they said group protocols. And they're showing me that community dumping ground again. So it's connected to that. They said that's all the clarity you need. Go from there. Take it one step at a time, they just said. One step at a time, humble approach. They're saying hearth and home, something about your home, your routine at home, and the people in your home is very significant. They've been showing me a lot of synchronicities and messages about how the home is an extension of our bioenergetic field. And so if your home is cluttered, or there's a lot of stuff in it, or there's old things in it, or it needs to be cleaned, or it holds a lot of negative memory, it can impact and directly influence your body. So there's something about a transfer of information here over time, or a transfer in time, that is helping you to acclimate to a new environment and to build that out from the inside out. So your body is shifting in creating a new home for you to live in. It's like your whole body is replenishing itself and regenerating, and that's going to maybe show up at a physical level. So there could be an upcoming move or a leap of faith that's called into action through these changes that are taking place. And again, they're saying one step at a time, take it slowly. Don't overwhelm yourself or overstimulate yourself. Don't put pressure on your body to do too much. Let yourself rest. Give yourself time. They're saying, give yourself time. Time is all you need. And then they just said purposeful pursuit, and they're showing me the color blue, a blue shirt. Actually, a blue shirt. Oh, right. This is a blue avian message. I forgot. A blue shirt. They're saying harmonious frequency holders. They're showing me waves on the ocean, and then that on a shirt as well, like waves on a shirt, water on a shirt. And it's like sitting over the top of the heart chakra. And they're saying manifesting a change, beneficial change, waves of energy that come in, and you're helping to stabilize that for your family or for your home or through yourself. And it could even be your soul family. I'm hearing conduit. They're saying that you're a conduit. Okay. That's it. So, okay, hold on. One last thing. They said 4 corners. 4 corners. The 4 corners of the home. Or something about a location. 4 corners. Contemplate it. And something about a deed or a land deed. It could be a land deed. I was going to say a deed or an action, but then I realized a deed can mean a land deed as well. Deed to a home. So there's a lot manifesting in the future here, group number 2. And they want you to be aware of your space and your health and your home, I think. They're saying the changes you are making are necessary. We will guide you through that process. We will take you to the other end of the stream where that consciousness will integrate more consensually with freedom codes. They're saying something about freedom codes. I don't know what that means. Integrating that stream of consciousness will be easier. They're showing me the flow. It was like a whitewater river, and there was rocks, and it was very sort of tumultuous. And then they're showing it to me like it kind of levels out, and the water calms down, and it becomes much smoother, and yet more rapid. So it's interesting because it's smoother and calmer on the surface, but it's actually flowing really fast underneath, and but it's more stable is kind of what it feels like. Okay, that's it, group number 2. I think I will leave the reading there. I hope the message was helpful. Just take what resonates and leave the rest. And something about a large group, they're saying, large group field, energy field of the group. They want us to honor that together. Okay. Yeah, honoring that together. They're showing me a pod of dolphins swimming together and feeling each other as we go through this process of ascension. Wow. Okay. Oh, I love that. All right. Thank you so much to the group here who has been called to this reading, because you're part of this group. If you chose this, if you were called here, there's a reason. I love you. I'm sending you so much healing energy to help your body to acclimate and to register these frequencies in a healthy way for your greatest and highest good and the greatest and highest good of this group and the all. Love you guys, and we'll see you in the next reading. Bye. All right. Hi, group number 3. Welcome to your reading. Messages from the Blue Avians. You guys were drawn to the 3 of Wands. Okay, they're saying something about a read through, covering the study notes. They're saying 3 of Wands. Something about dictation I'm getting. I don't know how that's all connected there, but something about dictation, study notes, covering the information. It kind of feels like looking at the strongest emphasis in some kind of group knowledge or information. Paying attention, they're saying. Are you paying attention? They're showing me students in a class as the professor is making a point. And it's like, are you taking notes? Are you studying those notes? Are you integrating the information? Are you understanding what's being said? I'm hearing also what's being sold. Are you understanding what's being sold to you? Why it's being sold to you, and what are you selling? I want to say. Okay, we're off to an interesting start. We have the 4 of Cups. Well, that's interesting because the 4 of Cups is kind of like boredom, distraction. And they just said something about focusing. Like, are you focused? Are you paying attention? So let me get more information. 4 of Pentacles as well. Something about a guardian or a guardian group. These 2 cats even look kind of similar. And they're both focused on something here. This one's focused on water. This one's focused on the treats, but they're both in the shape of the fish. The fish makes me think of prosperity, wealth and abundance of the soul and spirit, and also Christ consciousness. So there's something about the focus and the lesson. And Christ was a great teacher. So there's something here about focusing on the lesson, understanding the message. Something about a solo journey, they just said. They're showing me a red solo cup. And they were showing me somebody walking a mountain path alone in like hiking gear with a backpack on, hiking boots, some green shorts, and a ball cap, just hiking, or something about holding something alone. They said making a massive journey. And they're saying something about the necessary steps. This kind of came up in group number 2 as well, but in a different context. This one feels much more like a path of study or learning, spiritual learning. Yeah, the hermit. Okay, that's so funny because they literally just said solo journey and then solo cup, and the hermit is solo. The hermit, I just heard solo dolo. Solo dolo, that's funny. But yeah, this is solitary energy. Making this journey alone, and yet there's a whole class of people around you, or they're showing me all of the trees around you. Something about conduits and energetic beings and the connection between all things, they're saying as well. And the learning path, they're saying learning curve, and they're showing me this curve around the mountain that this person is walking alone. Knight of Wands, they're saying pursue it, or hold on, did you say pursue it or pursuant? Pursuant. Pursuit. They're saying pursuit of knowledge. I just felt a wave of Sagittarius energy when I was looking at this Knight of Wands card. And Sagittarius, the energy, the archetype of Sagittarius is very much about higher learning, not just in terms of universities, but also through adventure, through experience, through these solo travels, through exploration. That's what it feels like. And they're saying long journey, or sojourn. I just heard as well, sojourn. I don't know the actual literal definition of sojourn, but it feels like it's something about the journey. They're saying complicated journey, one time, something about one time or a one-time deal. And they're showing me that path curving around the mountain. And now they just started singing, and she's coming round the mountain when she comes. And then they showed me the path going back around the mountain and meeting at the base again. This feels really richly coded. And they're saying, are you paying attention? Are you taking notes? And they're showing me again this student in the class with their pen and paper taking notes. Are you taking notes? Something about the significant details, and they're showing me highlighting certain words, being able to differentiate what is important. And it's something about resonance. Queen of Cups. Okay. I wasn't even looking at that. I didn't even see that in my hand because I was just channeling. And I don't look down when I channel. I look kind of out into my own mind. But there's something about the frequency. The feeling of it. That you will be able to take note of important details and then literally note those things. Or maybe it's about a frequency note, like music note. And they're saying coming around the mountain again, and they're showing me, they're saying the word rounds, and they're showing me how, right. I remember doing rounds in choir. It was like one group starts singing at this time, and then you wait a couple of beats, and then you start singing that same part, but after, and then it's, rounds, it's like that. But they're saying solo mission and solo journey, but they keep showing me like how there's other people involved in this, or there's other groups, and it may feel like you're doing it alone, but you're kind of you're like alternating. Huh. Okay. 7 of Cups. Oh, they just started singing another song. So music seems to be significant here. It's the song Making My Way Downtown. How does that go? Making my way downtown, walking fast, phases pass, and I'm homebound. And it feels like coming back around again, homebound, base camp. Something about the circular journey feels like the world card in the tarot representing going around and coming back and having learned. Or Sagittarius, even that reference to world travel. Expansion, exploration, and learning through the journey. They're saying the word sojourn again, or sojourn. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it right, but it's like this solo journey of exploration and self-discovery. They said, I'll be coming around the mountain when I can. When I can, when I can. And it's making me think now of the little engine that could, who tries to go up the mountain. And he's like, I think I can, I think I can, I think I can. So maybe this is talking about self-belief. They're saying purposeful pursuit again, and they're bringing me back to what they said with the Knight of Wands, pursuant. Something about paying attention to where you're going or where you're stepping. Because if you're walking fast, you have to pay even more attention to the steps you're taking. Otherwise, you'd fall. Yeah, because that's what they were just showing me, was like if you walk too fast, you can stumble and fall on a loose rock or gravel on this mountain trail. And even though it's a circular path that goes around the mountain, there is an aspect of it that is simultaneously going up. So it's really weird. Kind of what they're showing me is like there's this path that goes around the base of the mountain and just stays there, but there's also this path that goes up. And there's a winding path that goes around it and up as well. So there's like multiple ways around this mountain or up and down this mountain, and they're all the same. They're saying they're all the same. They look different. They feel different, but they're all the same. Wow. And they're saying pay attention. Pay attention. Something about before the fall. Prevention is the best medicine. They just said prevention is the best medicine. So watch where you're going. Be purposeful in your pursuits. They're saying something about the pursuit of action. And they just said in dire need. In dire need. In dire need of what? Something about a telltale or trail, a tell trail. I'm not sure what they said there. They just said trail of innocence. I have no idea what to make of that. Trail of Innocence. Oh, the Empress. Okay, that's weird. They just said purposeful beauty, and then they said again, what are you buying? What are you selling? I mean, okay, hold on. They're saying something about gold. Gold and worth. There's gold in them thar hills, going up the mountain to find gold. This feels like, again, the spiritual journey, and the gold is the knowledge. And they're asking, are you paying attention? Something about selling yourself short. Don't sell yourself short. Or don't sell the journey short. Yeah. Page of Pentacles. Don't sell yourself short. Because there's something here that hold on. They just said something about paths crossing. They're showing me the cross-eyed Siamese cat. And I think that happens because they try to keep these Siamese cats really purebred, and then it's kind of like inbreeding, and they go cross-eyed. So they're crossing paths. Yeah. I don't know what that's really referring to there, but it feels significant. And they keep saying, don't sell yourself short. The Page of Pentacles underneath the Hermit, it feels very significant, as in like, don't sell yourself, or don't sell your journey short, because even though it's solo, or it's unique, or the road less traveled, or it's different than other people around you, it doesn't mean that it's any less valuable. They just said all roads lead home. And the Fool, oh, that's what they said. They said the Trail of Innocence, didn't they? And the Fool is the innocent. And he walks the path. He pursues, but they also, in the traditional tarot, the Fool is standing on the edge of a cliff. And the little white dog representing, I'm hearing his innocence. Ooh, his innocence. I've never seen the little white dog as a representation of innocence. Usually I see it as like sort of like a conscious or a conscience, representing the conscience, or even the inner self, the higher self, warning or guarding against the fall, where the Fool might step over the edge and tumble and fall down the cliff. So there's something about facing something. They just said facing something. Facing the truth you are pursuing. And then they're saying tumbling down. Again, a song, and it's like falling down the cliff. And now they're showing me, I love the scene in Hot Rod. They're showing me that scene in Hot Rod. If you've never seen it, basically he's like dancing in the forest, and it's an homage to Footloose. And then he falls down this hill. It's like massive hill, and he's just falling and falling and falling and tumbling forever. And he finally lands, and he's all broken, and he's groaning. He looks up and he sees a huge billboard, and it says one big jump. And it's like a sign from the universe that he needs to trust to be able to accomplish this journey that he's on. And something about not selling yourself short. Again, they keep saying that. The Fool's innocence can sometimes come off as foolhardy. And the reference to Hot Rod coming up is making me think of like the perpetual child, the puera aeternus, or the puera aeternus. And this inability to mature or to grow, not necessarily concurrent with age. So it seems like there's something about not selling this innocent part of the self short, though it may be gullible or reckless or fall down. It may seem foolhardy. It is actually a very vital part of the self that helps you to traverse these unknown paths and to explore them with openness and ingenuity. Yes. Okay. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you. That was a very direct message. And then I just noticed the calendar here on the back, and it says May, and it's got like a bridge here. I'm not even going to try and interpret that. I just feel like that's relevant. It was something that I took note of. So again, it's like something about your intuition, noticing certain signs or symbols and taking note and trusting that, not discounting that or not selling that short. Okay, Two of Pentacles. What? Okay, I just heard the Gilded Watch. The Gilded Watch. And at first I thought about like a gold pocket watch, like a gilded watch. But then when I said it again, I was also seeing reference to a guild, like guild members or a community or a group of people, and then watch, like a community watch or watchers at the gate. Now I'm seeing something about tailgating, bumper to bumper. And they keep referencing what is being sold. I have no idea kind of what this is referring to directly. It feels very cryptic, but there's definitely a message here for someone. The Star. They said the direction of the path is not dictated. What do you mean? Okay, they're showing me paths in the sand now, and it's like something about those who walked the path before you don't dictate how you walk it. And they're showing me how if somebody walks through the sand, it's easier to shift that sand and it makes it fresh and new again. And it's like you don't necessarily have to follow the trodden path. They're saying ingenuity again with that Fool energy and the Star. So it's like something about the ingenuity of the way that you walk through life that's really important here. And that you're still a student in something, or you're still learning. I mean, we all are. We're all perpetual students on the path of life. But there's something that you're learning here. Okay, I just heard the word dissociative and disconnected. They're saying disconnected, and they're showing me crossing paths. Knight of Pentacles reversed. Yeah, this would be very ungrounded energy. And a stopping in the path, or something crossing your path that makes you shut down in some way. Why? They keep saying over and over again in my head, don't sell yourself short. So group number 3, there's something here that maybe you're unsure of your knowledge around it, or of the steps that you're meant to take, or how focused you are on what you're learning, but they don't want you to sell yourself or the journey that you're walking short. Because even though there may be moments where you feel disconnected, or where you don't see the path forward and it doesn't feel like it's connected, it all is. And there's like, it's almost like moments of, okay, hold on. They just said the word forestalled. Forestalled. Eight of Swords on the bottom. It's like playing tricks with your mind. There may be moments where you feel like you are lost, or you don't know where you're going, or you don't know what to do. And they're saying, focus up. And they're showing me, they're pointing like up. Something about focusing up. They said grounding up. And they're showing me the Star card. Oh, okay, so grounding upward to, they're saying home base. Starseed type energy coming through now. I mean, blue avians, yeah, they are a star race of beings. So this feels like something that's, I'm hearing the word proficient. Something that's relevant to you is that maybe you feel stuck or unstable or unable to do something, or unable to learn something or to focus on the lesson. But it may feel like you keep failing, but they're saying that you're not actually stuck and you are unstuck in the times where the path crosses. Something about crossroads, bridges, where two paths meet. Maybe this is even involving someone else. Yeah, and they're directing me to how this kind of looks like a figure 8 right here, and how it's weaving in and out. So two paths crossing. maybe how this makes you question your path or get distracted, or it stalls you out a little bit, or you have to kind of take some time to go inward and to refocus on what it is that you are pursuing and why you're doing it. Something about fabrication of results. Shark and survival and power. I heard resting at ease. And then I heard if you please, if you please. What? Two sharks and two cats. Again, there's something about two people that they're saying the word forestalled again. Okay, they said elevate beyond it. Something about mass criteria, coursework. They're saying it again, and they're showing me like a syllabus for a class. It's kind of like the outline of what you're going to be studying, and they're saying the word synopsis, which is, I think, like if I'm remembering correctly, like a compilation of everything in a bite-sized form. Ooh, sharks bite-sized form. Interesting. Slowness, protection, and the turtle. That's what they were saying there. They were like, slow down and look where you're going. Your survival instinct may kick in and warn you of an impending fall. But they're saying, don't worry, it doesn't spell doom. It's just a process of learning. They said, pick yourself back up again. Healing and nurturing the self through periods of grief or disappointment. Something about a messenger sent to you at the crossroads to guide you. Not necessarily to direct you on the path of, they're saying path of least resistance, but not to tell you what path to take. But it feels like this messenger is sent to guide you, to kind of, to show you what resonates with you and what feels right for you. And then ultimately you're the one who makes that decision and who takes those steps and who walks that path, and you have to trust yourself in that. And they're also saying, don't sell yourself short. So like, obviously don't give anyone the power to direct the course of your life or the path that you take. It's entirely up to you. So this feels firstly like trusting yourself, but also welcoming in information that does feel resonant or relevant. And they're saying taking note of it because it's part of the studying or this path of learning. Pearl, hidden gem. Hidden gem. A pearl of wisdom offered to you, or a pearl of wisdom that you have to offer, because they keep on saying it, and they just said it again. Don't sell yourself short. Pearls are valuable. Don't sell that short. Even if you are still in the beginning stages of your journey, the pages are still apprenticing. The fool is at the beginning stages of this journey. It doesn't mean that it's your first rodeo necessarily. It could just be a new landscape that you're exploring, a new trajectory, a new course of action. But you still have a lot of wisdom to bring to the table. You still have a lot of experience at your back, I heard. And they're saying the hermit, the hermit, the hermit. And the hermit in the traditional tarot is depicted as an elderly man because he has a lot of life experience. And that's why he's introspecting so deeply, because he's looking back at his life and understanding and remembering what came before and the lessons that he learned. He takes that with him. I'm hearing, I just heard that. He takes them with him. Ooh, teeth. And they just said dreams of teeth. And it says control and change here. And you, like, if you've ever had teeth dreams, they're not very pleasant. It's like your teeth crumble or they fall out or whatever. They just showed me the inside of they're saying rows of teeth, and they're showing me the inside of a shark's mouth, like shark's teeth. Something about bone structure, they just said. And they're showing me like rows and rows of teeth, like backup teeth or multiple layers of teeth. I don't know what this is referring to. Something about that serrated edge of the teeth. Well, look at that. I just noticed this cat has a one tooth, like a snaggle tooth that's sticking out. Makes him very different and unique. So something about the teeth and differences in the teeth. But teeth can also represent stability and security. And when we have dreams of them falling out or shattering or breaking or things like that, it's usually because there's fear of either not being accepted, because teeth are like a structure that helps us to hold our face together, basically. It helps us to communicate. It helps us to be seen a certain way by other people. And it also helps us to eat, to feed ourselves, to gain nourishment. So it can be connected to survival. And you had that here with the shark message, and they were bringing me back to that, the shark teeth. So survival is definitely connected to that, the fear that those dreams are helping you to process. They're saying look at it, and they're saying take note again, something about focusing, stay focused. Relocation and home with the house. Well, they were saying making my way downtown, walking fast, faces past, and I'm homebound. Coming home, coming around the mountain, coming home. I'm hearing there's no place like home. Yeah, okay. And the path, that yellow brick road that Dorothy walked, she had to discover her own power. She was young, went through all of these experiences, crossed path with all of these things, faced many challenges that challenged her survival. But she faced them and she learned. And it revealed more of her own nature, more of her own values, even to herself. Maybe this is talking about what you value. Don't sell your values short, or don't sell yourself short for values that are facades. Really focus on what is truly valuable to you. And the star and home, the house and star are coming out close to each other. So it's like a star home amongst the stars. And it doesn't mean that you have to, okay, hold on. I'm hearing something about adapting. And they're showing me a fish swimming through water. Psychic waters. The fish constellation, they're showing me a fish constellation. I guess that would be Pisces. Okay. And the peacock, pregnancy and wealth. Definitely something about value here and being seen. The teeth, again, is connected to how we're seen or how we see ourselves, I just heard as well. And the peacock, being seen authentically, standing in the light. The star could also apply to being in the spotlight. And then the lion, strength and success. Okay. I'm getting a lot of zodiac signs coming through. They just took me back to the calendar on the back of one of the cards there that said May. And I was like, oh, that's Taurus. And they just mentioned the Pisces constellation. And then I was like, oh, this lion would be Leo. Something about truth tellers or soothsayers. And they're showing me what? Yeah, they're showing me, instead of the peacock, they're actually drawing my attention to, they're saying focus on, and they're showing me the fireflies in the background here. Focusing on the fireflies. Fireflies, they are illuminated from within. Okay, something about in the dark of night. And you know what? I just realized I put the peacock card right here, and it's pregnancy and wealth, and the Empress also signifies pregnancy and wealth. So there's definitely something here. Okay, hold on. There's so much coming through for you guys. They just said something about Nubian ancestry. They're showing me the Eye of Horus there, or the Eye of Ra, and they were showing me the pyramids. Something about the Lion's Gate may have been significant. And when I saw the fish constellation in my head, I was thinking it's kind of reminding me of Sirius for some reason. Aquatic beings from Sirius B. Something about an exchange of resources I just heard as well. Exchange of resources, planet to planet, species to species, truth for truth, I'm hearing. Loyalty, determination, the dog. I'm hearing protector, being. Something about guardians. Wasn't that, oh my God, is that not how we started the reading? Guardians. once I get into the flow, I'm like way downstream of where we started, and it's hard for me to look back and see like what came before. But there's something about guardians that they're bringing it up, and I feel like that was in this reading that we talked about that. Guardians of the light, something loyalty. They're saying holding in the mouth. Well, he's holding a tulip or a flower here in his mouth, but it feels like something about control and change, holding it in the mouth. I was just going to say, because we were just talking about how the teeth can represent that stability or security or survival fears. And then you've got the anchor, stability and security. So, okay, if I'm putting this all together, it kind of feels like you're being tested, group number 3, to endure the not knowing of a certain path and to rely on your own or develop your own inner security. And there is an exchange of resources that comes with that from seemingly outside sources. I want to put it in quotations, outside sources like that, because it's not actually, it's like nothing is outside of you. Nothing is truly outside of you. Everything is within. But it may feel or appear like it's coming from an outside source, someone else. But the funny thing is that you apply this knowledge or information when you're alone. So it's like you learn it together, but then you study alone, whatever that means. I was just going to say I was seeing dolphins and I turned over the deck. Playfulness, cooperation, and dolphins. They've been showing me a lot of dolphins in the weeks previous to right now, leading up to this. I'm hearing the event, and they're showing me a scene from, hold on, there's so much coming through. I just heard Guardians of the Galaxy, but what they were showing me was actually a scene from, what is that movie? Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, where all the dolphins jump out of the water and they leave Earth because it's due for demolition, and they're like, goodbye and thanks for all the fish, or something like that. Something about the fish constellation. Okay, so there's like a community or group effort here, but you're doing it alone. So it seems contradictory. It's not. It's taking some time to figure this out. They want you to be playful and keep that childlike essence or innocence alive, because it is actually helpful. And they also have this sort of guardian mentality that they're showing you, or that you're embodying, that helps to protect you and helps you to stay focused on what is relevant and important. Now, the frequency of that is going to come through other people. So you may experience a lot of people who are walking on this path with you, or who come into your life at certain junctures to deliver messages. Communication is key. Dolphins communicate a lot, and they have very specific ways of doing so. They have languages unto themselves, and dialects and behaviors and cultural significance as well. So there's something about the way that information is passed down, something about your ancestors. Lemuria just all of a sudden came up as well. Lemuria. Something about mice and men. And I'm realizing that in not Guardians of the Galaxy, sorry. But again, that guardian theme keeps coming up. In Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, the mice are behind the demolition of Earth. And mice symbolically can represent, hold on, I just heard intuition, but I was going to say they represent details, paying attention to the details. So putting it all together once again, you're meant to pay attention to these small details, to pay attention to focus, because that is the value of your creation or your intention onto what is being created here. And to surpass any previous fears of destruction or falls or falling, like the falls of empires, fall of Lemuria, fall of Atlantis, things like that are coming up into my mind. Pyramids make me think of Atlantis. Lemuria was just referenced. These were ancient civilizations and cultures that thrived and that ultimately fell. And that's okay, because there's a natural process. It all comes back around again, and we are coming home despite... So they're saying something about sad tidings, despite sad tidings, I guess. And they're showing me the tides moving in and out in the ocean now. And they're saying anchor and stability. But then they just said the word fluidity. So it's like the fluidity and the stability and the anchoring helps you to move. It's like Stable fluidity is kind of what it feels like. Stable fluidity, being able to adapt and overcome. It's like Survivor Man, out in the forest on your own, finding ways to survive, finding ways to adapt, while simultaneously learning these lessons and applying them. I just heard field district. They've said the word field in all 3 readings now, but in different contexts. I'm just taking note of that. Again, when they tend to repeat things, I always kind of highlight that in my mind because it's important. They're saying field context. Yeah, because it presented in 3 different contexts. Something about a field determinant of a field of consciousness, field of hope, they just said, and they're showing me the star card. Yeah, the hope frequency, or a field of hope. But they're showing me like the constellations in the sky again. Something about the orbit of the earth, or orbit of something, orbiting something. Oh, you'd be going around the mountain, orbiting the mountain. They just said something about fake fruitfulness, and they said pay attention. Something about fallen trees. Okay. They're just saying pay attention. Take note. Write it down. Study it later. It'll come back around. So something about the signs or the coding or the symbols that they're showing you, the synchronicities basically, are going to come back around at a later point in time, and you'll be able to apply that differently through different lens, different context. And it's connected to survival. It's connected to this journey of learning, and it's connected to, hold on. They just said wage development. Wage development. I was going to say it's connected to the value system, like how you value yourself or this journey, or maybe it is literally connected to money, because that's the earthly value system we use. Okay. Well, yeah, there's so much more I could go into here. I'm hearing deep dive. Like there's so many deep dives that I think that you're going to be doing here, group number 3, or that you have been doing. They keep showing me those dolphins leaping up out of the water and flying into the sky, out into orbit, and being in the galaxy again, or like swimming through, they're saying fields of consciousness, like swimming through fields of consciousness. I just heard unbeknownst to you. So this may even happen when you're sleeping or when you're not aware of it. Swimming through the fields, they're saying, and they're showing me a scene from Gladiator where he's walking through the fields of wheat and he's like brushing them with his hand. I think that's right when he's dying too. So he's like having this vision of going home and seeing his family again. And they just said, take your time. Then they said, spell it out. And truth be told. Okay, so I'm just relaying that to you. It feels like, hold on, one more thing. They just said fostering connection, group effort, strength in numbers. They said the word confluence. And then truth be told. And then they said truth will be sold. Don't buy it. Own it yourself. Oh, I like that. Truth will be sold. Don't buy it. Own it yourself. And then they're saying again, don't sell yourself short. Okay. They said take your time. And I feel like I'm going to leave the reading here because they're kind of pulling back now. So that was what they wanted to bring through for you, group number 3. They're saying take your time again, but they're kind of like fading away. Like it's like I'm literally hearing their voices kind of like echo into the distance as they back away. Take your time, take your time, take your time. That's what they're saying. So even though you may feel like you're alone, I'm also getting this message that you never really truly walk alone. Your guides are always with you, right by your side. Left side, right side, I'm hearing flank you. They flank you. And protect you. Guardians, they're saying guardians, guardian angels, guardian beings, not really angels, but guardian beings. Guarding you. Okay? And they're going to let you know of anything that's relevant, so just pay attention, that's all. Just be open. Be mindful. No fear. Just truth. Okay. Sending you so much love, group number 3, on your journey. Really hope this was helpful. Just take what resonates and leave the rest. See how things unfold or play out. As you circle back around to some information at a later date, there will be additional context, so keep that in mind. I love you. I'm hoping in that hope frequency for the hand of God. I just heard the hand of God to offer the highest truth. In God's will, so be it. I love you guys. We'll see you in the next reading.